Writing. #wedding story #kindness matters #heart touching. The wedding hall was glowing with golden lights, soft music, and the laughter of guests celebrating love. Everyone was dressed in their finest outfits, posing for photos and sharing warm wishes with the bride and groom. But near the back of the hall, a young woman sat quietly at a table by herself. Her name was Aisha. She had worn a simple blue dress and spent hours gathering the courage to attend this wedding. The bride was her cousin, and although they had grown up together, Aisha always felt out of place at big gatherings. Her weight had made her the target of jokes for most of her life, and tonight felt no different. As she walked through the hall earlier, a few guests whispered and giggled. "Did you see her?" One woman murmured behind her hand. "Who invited her to a wedding?" Another joked. Aisha pretended not to hear, but every word felt like a small stone thrown at her heart. She quietly took a seat in the corner, hoping the night would pass without anyone noticing her. At the next table sat a man in his mid-30s with a little girl beside him. His name was Daniel, a single father who had been raising his daughter, Lily, on his own since his wife passed away 3 years ago. Lily, curious and kind, kept glancing toward Aisha. "Daddy," she whispered softly, tugging his sleeve, "why is that lady sitting alone?" Daniel looked over and noticed the way some guests were pointing and whispering. He frowned. "Sometimes people forget how to be kind," he said gently. A few minutes later, a group of guests walked past Aisha's table and laughed loudly. "Careful, the chair might break," one man joked cruelly. The laughter spread like wildfire across the room. Aisha's eyes filled with tears. She reached for her purse, ready to leave before anyone noticed she had been crying. But before she could stand up, a voice spoke clearly across the room. "That's enough." The music seemed to fade as people turned around. Daniel had stood up. He walked calmly toward Aisha's table, ignoring the confused stares from the crowd. Lily followed, holding his hand. Daniel looked at Aisha kindly and said, "Would you like to sit with us?" Aisha was surprised. I don't want to bother you." "You're not bothering anyone," he replied with a warm smile. "But those people bothering you? That's not okay." Lily pulled out a chair for her. "Please sit with us," she said sweetly. The room had grown quiet now. Many guests watched, suddenly uncomfortable with what had just happened. Daniel then turned toward the people who had been laughing. "You know," he said calmly, "my daughter is watching everything happening tonight. And what she learns from adults matters." No one spoke. "I want her to grow up believing kindness is stronger than cruelty," he continued. "A wedding celebrates love. If we can't show respect to someone here, then what exactly are we celebrating?" A few guests lowered their eyes. Aisha wiped away a tear, overwhelmed by the unexpected support. "Thank you," she whispered. Daniel shrugged lightly. "Everyone deserves to feel welcome." For the rest of the evening, Aisha sat with Daniel and Lily. They talked, laughed, and even danced together when Lily insisted. Something inside Aisha slowly changed that night. The cruel voices that had echoed in her mind for years were replaced by a new memory, a stranger who chose kindness when others chose mockery. Later, as the wedding ended, the bride approached Aisha. "I'm really sorry for how some people behaved," she said softly. "You deserve better." Aisha smiled gently. "Tonight reminded me that good people still exist." As Daniel and Lily prepared to leave, Lily hugged Aisha. "You're really nice," the little girl said. Aisha laughed through happy tears. "So, are you?" Walking out of the hall, Daniel held Lily's hand. "Daddy," she said, "did we do the right thing?" Daniel smiled. "The right thing is usually simple," he replied. "It's just choosing kindness when it's easier not to." And that night, in a room full of people, the bravest thing anyone did was stand up for someone who felt invisible. Because sometimes, one small act of kindness can change someone's entire world. Heart 1500 WAD.